It's Pikachu!
It's Clefairy!
Hello fellow makers and welcome to Hypermakes. I know this is a kind of a surprise video as I told that I will be back after 1 year and I'm taking a break. But here we are making a video on Creality Sonic Pad. So in this video I'll be showing you the process of how we can use it with a DIY 3D printer. So without any further ado, let's get started. I know you have already watched so many unboxing videos, that's why I'm skipping the unboxing part. So after doing the basic setup, you just go to the printer select menu and select other models. Now take the USB flash drive provided with the Creality Sonic Pad and put your printer's printer.cfg file in it. After safely removing your USB flash drive from your computer, plug it into your Creality Sonic Pad and follow the steps. Now after you reach the self-test section of the setting, you may be encountered with this type of an error, okay? So this error only shows up when you use multiple configurations that go with your printer.cfg file, right? To fix this error, we need to know the IP address of our Sonic Pad. So use any of these two methods to know the IP address, then go to a web browser and access your Fluid interface. Now as you can see, when we access our Fluid interface, there are multiple errors showing up right now. We will fix them one by one, so let's get started. Go to the configurations tab and delete the extra webcam.1txt file. We don't need that, so just get rid of it. Now by using WinSCP, we have to transfer the other configuration files to the folder where the printer.cfg is situated. So follow along. Now after you have logged in, just click on the first slash of the address bar so that you can go to the root folder. Navigate to the mount folder, which is named as MNT. There you can find two folders, that is XUdisk and UDisk. The XUdisk is your USB flash drive which is plugged into it, and the UDisk is the internal SD card, right? Now you have to place all your other config files into the folder named printer_config. Now leaving the printer.cfg, webcam.txt and the Moonbreaker configuration file, copy and paste all the other necessary configuration files to the printer_config folder. Now let's restart the firmware and see if we encounter any other errors. So I'm getting this error because I was using Xload object, which is a really great feature of Clipper in its latest versions, but Creality uses an older version, so I will just comment it out in my configuration file. Now many people must be familiar with this error, those who use gcode shell command. So I will just fix this error by placing the gcode shell command.py file in my Clippy's extras folder. Now one thing is that we cannot go back to the Clipper folder because we do not have permissions for that. We are not set as a root user in this environment, so we'll have to log in again. Now this error comes when the printer's main board is in shutdown state. So just reset power cycle the printer main board and it should be fine. So the last error, which is not optional and which requires to be fixed, is the invalid G-code path error. So in order to fix that, you just go to your config file, in my case which is fluid.cfg, and change the path accordingly as I shown here. You may get a false positive error like this after you do a firmware restart, which is absolutely fine. So you can just counter check it by doing again firmware restart. Now after fixing all the errors, you should be greeted with a self-test section, so just follow along. Now as you can see, finally Clipper is up and running on a Creality Sonic Pad, so let's do some testing. Now I will be very quick and brief about all the functions. So in the move menu, every button is working, that's great. Now in the preheating section, as you can see, we have only two options, that is PLA and PETG. So a custom option to add in another preheat setting would be very good. Now after that, if we go to the control menu, everything seems to be working fine. In the fan, as you can see parts cooling fan option is there, hot and fan. Now there is another thing that I want to show you, is this macro menu which they have introduced, and they say it is experimental, but I have tested the macros and they seem to be working fine. Now if you have lights set up in your printer, then you can use this LED switch button to toggle your printer lights on and off. And finally, this new button which I want to show you is the console they have added, so that you can see all the commands directly from here, your Creality Sonic Pad. Now coming to the configure menu, do not use the manual level or auto level or the Z-Probe calibration button, because they are solely made for Creality printers and they may crash your printer. Then after that, you can check out the network settings button. In the wireless network, it will show your IP address and the available Wi-Fi networks near you. The local information button shows you some more information about your printer and your Creality Sonic Pad. The save configuration button also works. The camera button shows you the live stream of your webcam, and if you want, then you can also set some parameters of your time lapse using this small setting in the camera section. The other settings button takes you to the menu where you can set the basic settings of your Creality Sonic Pad, which I didn't show you in the starting of the video. So you can do that, and the main reason is that you can see they have added a new feature called printer firmware tools. When you click on that, actually you can use that to make a firmware bin file for your printer's main board, which is very handy, to be honest. I haven't tested it yet, but let's see. Now finally coming to the print menu button. As you can see, there are 4 options to select from, that is local, USB stick, Creality Cloud and print history. Now for some reason it is not showing my files under the local tab, even if the USB stick tab. I think it's a bug because even after refreshing it is not showing. And as you can see also, I have tried to print 3 or more files from the fluid interface in the as it is being shown in the print history. Finally, let's see if the emergency stop button works, and yes, it does. So moving on to the web interface and the bugs related to it. Okay, so coming to the interface, as you can see here, it is similar to fluid interface, but it is not actually fluid. They have made it a little bit customized. As you can see, it is showing Creality Sonic Pad, its version and 2022, and there are some features which are very different from normal fluid interface. And also the fluid web interface was installed by default in my firmware, so let's see about that. First of all, as you can see, there is a Creality branding in this thing. Normally there is a fluid, you can choose your themes, and I just named it Underwire by going into the settings in here. So that's not an issue. Then there are 2 tabs that are not available in original fluid web interface right now, but it is available here. That is this console tab. As you can see, it is a similar console. It is a similar console to this one only, but there it is a so there is a dedicated tab for console here. Then file list is there already, and if we go, there is a tab for time lapse, which is really new to me because I have been using fluid since it's 1.16 or 1.17 version, and it didn't have this, I guess. I can't remember properly, but as of now, this console tab and this time-lapse tab are not available in fluid interface, right? And okay, I will show you the things that I've discovered till now one by one. We'll go I have just noted them down on my notepad, so I will just go one by one. Okay, so starting off with this thing, that is, whenever you try to do any change in any type of file, like your printer.cfg or the Moonraker configuration, and even you do a save and restart firmware, the problem is that no change is being shown in the UI, and you can confirm that. Okay, I'm saying because now let me show you first what is the thing. Let me show you my printer.cfg, and first you see this is not a Raspberry Pi. Okay, so in temperature documentation I changed the name to Sonic Pad for the temperature. As you can see here, change the name to Sonic Pad. Then also one other thing I want to show you is the Z offset is 4.9 mm here, right? This is my latest Z offset which I calculated, but the problem is, I will show you okay. Another thing also, here, look at this. Last time I had done my pressure advance for my PLA filament, so this time I had to do my pressure advance calculation for my ABS filament, ESUN ABS. So this is the new value, as you can see, right? Now let me show you. If I go back, the first thing is you see here is the Sonic Pad has not been, like the Raspberry Pi has not been changed into the Sonic Pad, right? It should be changed, but it is not. Then second thing is, it is showing the old value of pressure advance. Like these are the kind of evidence, like the UI is not changing accordingly to the printer.cfg or any kind of config file you are changing, right? See, the pressure advance value is different, which is the older one. Raspberry Pi has not been changed. And then another thing, as you can see, all these macros are uncategorized now, right? No, these were categorized. Before I shut down my Creality Sonic Pad last time, I went into the settings tab, okay? I went to macros. I created all these macros categorization, as you can categories, okay? Like as you can see, and then I categorized them also. But after that shutdown, when I started it again, all the macros are uncategorized. And you remember the Z offset, right? Okay. If I will go little bit up, when my clicky prove is doing its Z Z limit calculation, okay, it probes three times. So as you can see here, the result is 5.104, but the set value of Z offset is 4.9 in the printer.tfc. So why 5.104 is being used, I cannot understand. So this concludes that I think that whenever we are doing firmware restart, the values are being saved in the specific file in which the changes are being done, but it is not being shown in the UI, right? Okay, the next point is, you know that you can do stuff in this tab, right? When you click on these three dots, you get option for host control and services control. So normally there should be Moonraker and Clipper here, but Moonraker is not visible here. I don't know why. And here is reboot and shutdown. And the main thing is that I will show you right now. If I click on this, okay, if I click on this also, nothing happens. Yeah, now the service and host buttons don't work as we are not established as a root user in the custom Linux firmware used by Creality. Yep, we are not established as the root user, so these buttons and changing these services, doing a restart or stopping the services, it requires a sudo permission or a super user permission, which is being not given to us because we are a normal user, as I told you earlier. Then the next thing you can see, that is there is no software updates option, right? Either it is not there, like it has been disabled by Creality, or no, there is something other issue about that, because there should be a software update version. So you cannot update your Clipper version to latest or Moonraker or even the Fluid web interface. So that's an major drawback, because we should be able to update to the latest versions for security and stability, right? That's what sticks together. That's what makes open source. Again, another thing is that you can SSH into your Creality Sonic Pad, as they have mentioned in the recent release notes, like blah blah blah, and custom models have been added, improved vibration compensation, z-axis calibration, some known bugs. IDK, what is this? What do they mean by this? Okay. And the last thing is that allow users to the SSH background. I'm still unable to figure out what they mean by that, but I should tell you that you can SSH into the Creality Sonic Pad, albeit you can do shit. Okay, now why? That's because we have been set up as a normal user without any super user rights, right? So you cannot use any command in the terminal. I tried some of the commands. Okay, you can try any command. Okay, so if you have having any doubts, so you can try any command. So none of the commands seem to work. And also, if we use WinSCP, okay, as I have shown you earlier how we used WinSCP to at least how we can place our required config files in the specific folder for which we can use our Creality Sonic Pad. So the thing is, if we go back like this, we can go back to share. Okay, no problem. Then if we try to open any of the folders, as you can see here, you will get a error like this that permission is denied. So that makes it not workable. Then you cannot access the user folder also, because that is a problem. The only thing you can do is you can use the directly opening clipper folder which is being shown in the start, or you can go to the root. See, you can go to the root, or then almost everything is not accessible here, except luckily the mount folder is accessible, in which we will use this UDisk can use this SD card UDisk folder to place our printer configs and macros. So basically you can do SSH to your Creality Sonic Pad, but you can't do anything with full privilege. So here are some suggestions that I have for the Creality Sonic Pad. Number 1 being, at least provide a proper way to shut down, because nobody is going anywhere with corrupted files and a bricked Linux SBC, right? So a proper way to shut down is the first thing that I would like to have for the Creality Sonic Pad. Second is fixing the known bugs with the help of community support. Third being able to do software updates for better stability and security. Number 4, support for thumbnails produced by SuperSlicer. And number 5, custom thermal presets would be very helpful. I know it's too much to ask, but hey, you guys said it will be open source, so why not toss the root access also? The final verdict is that the Creality Sonic Pad can be a game changer among its competitors if it receives regular updates and the community support. Similarly, like my channel, if it receives the support from you guys. So like or dislike the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and yeah, the comment section is always open for you guys. See you guys in the next one.